Hey, this is David Clayman with IGN Insider, and I had the distinct pleasure of doing the Call of Duty 3 review for IGN Xbox 360. Call of Duty 3 is the sequel to Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 1. Call of Duty 2 was a launch title on Xbox 360, and now we have Call of Duty 3 only a year after that game was released. The game's developed by Treyarch, who took the reins from Infinity Ward and really did a great job. The story of Call of Duty 3 is about the Normandy breakout, so the story is told chronologically through the eyes of the Canadian, Polish, American, and British. This is really a new take on things. In Call of Duty 2, we had a bunch of different theaters that span the globe, but now we're focusing mainly on the liberation of Paris. And it takes place over 88 days, and a lot of the campaigns will affect each other, which is really cool. You'll get to know some of the characters better than you have in previous Call of Duty games, and it just adds to the overall presentation. If you want to know about gameplay, you can go back and play Call of Duty 2, and you're getting almost exactly the same thing. There have been just a few additions. Now, you can throw grenades back if they land too close to you, and they've added a series of quick-time events. This comes into play with a little bit of hand-to-hand combat, planting some charges. You'll have to move the controller around to actually plant them with the control sticks and hitting some buttons in succession. And also, they've added a few weapon drops. So, in previous Call of Duty games, you didn't really find too many hidden objects, but I found a few crates containing some interesting weapons in this game. Now, the QuickTime events come into play only sporadically. They're pretty good in some cases. In other cases, they're not that much fun. But it's really not a huge part of the game, so it doesn't really add or detract that much overall. The biggest thing you'll notice is that the graphics have improved drastically. Treyarch really stepped in and upped the presentation. You're going to see some of the best foliage that you've ever seen in a World War II shooter. You'll notice this when you cross lakes in the middle of a forest. It looks like you're really surrounded by trees. And the geography varies enormously. You're going to be crossing over hills, down into valleys. It just makes the game feel like a real environment and not a series of set levels. Also adding to the graphics are some really amazing lighting effects and some cinematic events that Treyarch is known for, probably if you've played Call of Duty Big Red 1. You're going to have some really surprising events take place on the battlefield that'll have you jumping out of your seat and probably dropping the controller a few times. Call of Duty 3 is no doubt one of the best looking games on Xbox 360. However, we can't say it's the best looking game out there because we've all been playing a little bit of Gears of War. That's the last time I'll mention that game, but you have to understand that Epic has done an amazing job with that title, and it really changes the way we look at all games released on 360. Another huge addition to Call of Duty 3 is the multiplayer section. Treyarch's really stepped this up a lot. What you have now is 24 players online, and they've taken a cue from Battlefield, where they've added a bunch of character classes. You have 7 classes, including a rifleman, a medic, light and heavy assault, armor support, and a scout. You can change through each one of these classes when you're playing online each time you die, and it really makes a huge difference with how your team's going to do. In one of the new online modes called War, you're going to need your whole team to really switch through the classes. If you work together doing this, you're going to have a much better chance of surviving and combating things like tanks and people camping out and sniping. Online is far superior to Call of Duty 2 when it launched last year, and it's really a lot of fun. We gave Call of Duty an 8.8. It's a great game and a must-buy for anyone who loves World War II shooters. Treyarch's done an amazing job of keeping a really populated genre very fresh with this title, and they should be congratulated.
We've got to do something. Something. This is bad. We've got to...